Hello, guys. So I've been watching The Amazing Lucas for the past not few, I would say maybe 1 or 2 months max. I think I had no idea before that about Amazing Lucas, but I think he's gone viral because he's I keep his videos keep getting recommended on my channel, and I believe he also recently was on Piers Morgan, so he's obviously gone really viral. And I personally, I like his videos. He's funny, he's crisp and to the point, and I like the way he roasts races. I love his channel. Now he's made a video about how the right-wing Indians are slowly realizing they plays in the party. Let's go ahead and watch.
Oh my goodness. So I'm not gonna lie, I have a guilty pleasure, all right? And it is a song. And this song is probably one of my favorite songs that is playing currently. And it's a song of black and brown people crying about how there are racists within the Republican Party. I'm not gonna lie, that is my favorite song of all time. And it just keeps on playing on repeat over and over and over and over again. Number one on the Billboard charts is going to be our favorite Indian. That is going to be Dinesh D'Souza. Now, for those of you
I don't like this guy for whatever reason. I just I I was watching this guy this debate with the cosmic skeptic, right? I forgot his name. A very bright person. He's, I think, an atheist. The debate was something about the Bible and some of the things mentioned in the Bible. He had no answers to the cosmic skeptic.
don't know Dinesh D'Souza has built his, political career basically on top of, the death of black people, okay? That is what he is.
So I had no idea about that. Like I've only watched Dinesh D'Souza's non-political videos. I've not seen. I don't know his political inclination or whatever. I just realized that he's like a right winger.
Nothing more than a token Indian on the Republican right to bolster, racism, to bolster anti-black racism, to bolster white nationalism, to bolster white supremacy, to bolster.
And by the way, I don't I'm not like a left winger or a right winger. I don't know, because it's as if these are two completely different when circles that has no commonalities. That's how it's projected. That's how it's understood. But I like some of the things from the left, and I don't like some of the things from the far left, and I like some things from the right, and I don't like some things from the far right. But obviously I didn't grow up in the US or Australia or whatever. I just moved here to Australia like a few years ago. I grew up in India. So the first thing is I do believe in a higher power. I don't know. I wouldn't call it God or whatever it is. I'm not like an atheist, but I believe in order to be a democratic, you can't be like a believer. I think. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. And on the other hand, it's as if like if you are a right winger, you also have to be like a racist. I don't know if that's like a requirement, or a nationalist or whatever. But yeah, so there are certain things that I like about the Republicans, the right wingers. There are certain things that I don't like. So it's to me it's not like either this or that. Like but that is how it is.
Everything that is wrong with this country. That's what he has been. He has been a racist little Indian attack dog, okay? If they needed someone who wasn't black to approve of, George Floyd or something, or say that it was in fentanyl, they would get little Dinesh to come out and go and attack. Okay, if they needed a policy that would have negatively impacted people, they'll get little Dinesh to come out and attack. If they needed a movie or propaganda, Dinesh was really big when it came to movies and put out propaganda. He did like 40 Mules or something like that. I remember when they were talking about, oh, the election was stolen, the election was stolen. Well, Dinesh, he took it upon himself to put out his documentary. And he's put out a whole bunch of documentaries, comparing Trump to Lincoln and all this and yada, yada, yada. That's who Dinesh is. Beta! What is recently happening is that there's been, there's been an awakening. That's the best way to describe this. Because you have people like Dinesh who are now crying, okay? They are crying because there are attacks on Indian people that are happening from the right. And you want to know who their scapegoat is? This is, because you have to understand, it's a little hard to get someone to speak the truth if their payment is from them speaking lies.
That's profound.
That's what you have to understand. So when I see people like Brandon Talmud and the rest of them, it's going to be very difficult for someone to turn down a paycheck. It's not going to happen. You have people, criticizing Matt Walsh. You have people criticizing Michael Knowles and whatnot, and they're saying, hey, you should just leave the Daily Wire and start your own thing. Listen, it's a little hard when you become an adult, especially if they have kids and they have families, to turn down a paycheck, despite it being in your vested interest as a group, as a whole, to do such.
Make your money, whore.
But the problem now is that people are turning on the likes of Dinesh, the likes of, Kunduz Owens and the rest of them. And the reason being is that they're racist. That's shield for these racists. The party really is. This is what I've said ad nauseum. I said, hey, the core of this party, the silent majority of the party, is racist. Damn. Now, I know that there are a lot of Republicans out there that wanted to get up. Because that's not true. You lost me with that one. Listen, I know you vocal minorities who think that, hey, we're all for immigration as long as it's legal. Hey, we just want America. Okay, for Americans, that's what we want. I don't care if you're black, white, and all that. You're a minority within the Republican Party. I don't know if you happen to know this. A minority. The vast majority, they may be silent, okay, now they're not being so silent, but the vast majority of the Republican Party for quite some time has been nothing but racist bigots. That's what...
I kind of agree with Lucas here. So there is a very similar parallel in India that I can compare whatever is going on in the US. I'm not sure how many of you know this, but in India, there's something called caste. So the caste system formed when, as per scientific studies and archaeological, anthropological studies, so about 2,500, 3,000 years ago, a group came from the steppe region of the Caucasus around the Caspian Sea, and they migrated to India. And before them, there were a different ethnic group of Indians who I can say are could have been a mix between Ethiopians and ancient Iranians. So I think South Indians are a mix of like ancient Iranians and Ethiopians and the out of Africa, the hunter-gatherer tribes, right? And then these people come in. There's like a difference, obviously there's skin color and all the kind of differences. So I think initially they start to mix, and then later they refrain from mixing and then start forming endogamous relationships, which is how caste systems were formed, and then eventually now it's like a very rigid kind of a thing. So all of these the ones that Lucas mentioned, like these Vivek Ramaswamis and then this Patels, Cash Patels, and I'm not sure about Dinesh D'Souza, but like most of them they belong to the upper caste, the Brahmin community. Dinesh D'Souza is a Christian, but I'll come to that. These Brahmin communities, some of the most entitled communities in India. They have the most privilege. You won't believe, like up until like maybe 200, 300 years ago, they were the only ones allowed to allowed to have knowledge. Anyone else, if we tried to read the Vedas or whatever, as per the Vedas, molten mercury has been poured into the ears of whoever, so that's the kind of privilege these guys had. So obviously that privilege comes with a bit of entitlement. That is the reason these guys think they can, become, I don't know, they can rule whichever country they move into. They can, all that confidence and the entitlement comes because of that. On the other hand, there are like lower caste people who are within India also, like, and on top of that, these guys would be right wingers when they are in India, because these guys are the privileged ones. So just like how we have right and left wing in the Western countries, we also have the same thing in India as well. And the right wing in India typically would be the Hindu nationalist people, the upper caste mostly. The left wingers would be the ones mostly looking like the minorities and the ones who are fighting for equal rights and that kind of stuff. Fight against oppressive upper caste, people who are oppressed, and the Dalits and them. So these guys, these Brahmins, as long as they are in India, they would be right wingers. But then, as soon as they move to a different country, and when they start facing this discrimination, immediately they become left wingers. Some of them, but some of these guys who think, who live in a bubble that, like, oh, these like Americans would accept me as their own, because they've obviously been brought up with this kind of entitlement, right? So that's the reason for this entitlement, that they think because they are Brahmin, because they are upper caste, everybody would think the same. In India, that could be the case. Again, that's becoming a minority. More and more people are gaining access to studies and knowledge and whatnot. That is also decreasing. That's why these guys are moving out of India and then settling down in foreign countries. Now, where was I? Yeah, that is the reason for the entitlement. Now, regarding Dinesh D'Souza, I don't know, like what I read somewhere, like in during Jesus Christ time, Saint Thomas came to India. In fact, Saint Thomas died in the southern part of India, and then like at that time he converted a few Hindus into Christianity. So Christianity in India is a very ancient religion, close to 2000 years old, right? And like a group of Christians, they call themselves Syrian Christians, and these Syrian Christians still follow the Orthodox Saint Thomas time Christianity till date. But the news is, apparently when they came to India, they converted the Brahmins at that time, right, into Christians. And because of that, even in to present day, I believe they are considered more privileged within the Christian community. And if something has to be done, something auspicious has to be done, the other lower caste, like the other Christians, they would ask these Syrian Christians to come and touch something, or come and do the honor or whatever, that kind of stuff. I only came to know about this recently. I'm not sure how far, like how true it is, but I think it could still be the case. So I know where Lucas is coming from, because being from a non-Brahmin caste, being from, like, I would never support uh, any right-wing party. Doesn't matter within India, doesn't matter outside India. I would never ever support any right-wing party. I may not be very happy with the left-wing party, because of sometimes they take it to the extreme, far left. But I would still, I'm like kind of like a moderate left, you can say, kind of a guy. But I do believe in some higher power. I do believe in God as well, if you can call it that.
Many people have been trying to tell you. I've been telling you this. Nobody wants to listen. Now that they're starting to come out and be like, yeah, I don't want to be represented by Dinesh D'Souza. He's Indian. Tell his Indian self to go back to India and make India great again, right?
It's the same thing that happens in the Indian right-wing parties as well. So the lower caste can be part of the party. They would be happy. They would be happy for you to be part of the party. But then you can never be the leader of that party. So that would be always be the Brahmins. You see what I mean? So I know I've seen this kind of thing, this kind of mindset right from a very young age. So and I'm pretty sure that that's the case with the right wing parties elsewhere in the world as well.
In the picture.
And the funny thing about this is most of us are moderates, right? Though moderates are the majority, it's the extreme the extremist minorities are the ones who control the power, right? Did you take any religion? You take Hindu extremism, like majority of, because they are the ones who know in depth their religion, irrespective of which religion it is. Be it Judaism, be it Islam, be it Hinduism, Christianity, whatever religion it is, right? There is a minority, and that minority is they know the religion a bit too well, so they become the extremists. And because they know the religion a little too well, they know exactly what it is about. And they know that the moderates, the majority moderates, won't care. You know, they are not the ones who try and change the society. You see what I mean? So it is always going to be like that.
Vivek Ramaswamy with his kids smiling and everything, you have people trying to say, hello, my fellow whites, like he's one of them. And I've said this, they don't view you as one of them. You are nothing more than a useful idiot to them. You are a tool for their disposal.
But I can tell you that, like, Brahmins in India, they think they are white. They think they are Aryan, literally. Literally, they think they are Aryan.
That's all you will ever be.
And by Aryan, I don't mean the Nazi kind of Aryan. Even Hitler got that from the Indians, right? Aryan literally means Iranian, I guess, because Iran literally means Aryan. So these tribes, as I said, like the steppe people, they come through Iran and then they pick up characteristics, pick up like some of the ideas from Iran. And I think Iran is a very, what do I say? How do I say this? Iran is kind of I think it's a kind of a racist society. But I need to dig a little deeper on that. Because I've seen Iran in movies. The dark-skinned people are not, portrayed in the best light, I would say.
To be honest with you, that's what Dinesh really knows. He knows he's nothing more than a tool. That's what Vivek Ramaswamy knows. He knows he's nothing more than a tool. There's no way to deny this. When you have Ann Coulter talking about you are the greatest candidate on stage, but I wouldn't vote for you because you're Indian.
I still would not have voted for you because you're an Indian.
When I watched this, I was like taken aback, just like this.
Damn!
She clearly said that to his face. He said, like, you're not a wasp. WASP actually, apparently stands for White Anglo-Saxon Protestant or whatever. So, as I said, these parties are controlled by extremist kind of people.
Like, I don't know how much how much more blatant they can be, but because they have promoted low.
And he still has not realized. I don't think he'll ever realize because he's a Brahmin.
low IQ simpletons simply off the basis of race, if we're going to be honest. That's the irony. They constantly want to talk about DEI and bastardize it, but the DEI that you think is happening, that has happened within the Republican Party. That has happened within the Conservative Party.
And funny thing is, as per the Vedas or whatever, I read somewhere, Brahmins are not allowed to travel overseas. But that's what they do.
You have a lot of these Indians and blacks that are low IQ that don't know anything about anything, but because they were tap dancing and telling you what you wanted to hear, you were like, yeah, let's go Dinesh. Yeah, let's go Vivek. Now, now they're like, matter of fact, you had them call out Vivek not too long ago, talking about, hey, you don't even worship the same God as us.
Throughout the course of the lecture, you talked an awful lot about
that's
God and faith. And there were some men that come up here and they ask you about your Hindu religion. But my suspicion is if they didn't mention that, you would have omitted who that God was throughout the course of the entire lecture.
That is very true.
And most of the people in this room here would leave thinking you were talking about the only true God, Jesus Christ.
In fact, some of the temples don't even allow Christians in India inside. So that's the kind of I don't know if you ask them, they would give some reason, but I'm not sure if it's like discriminatory in nature. I think it has to be, isn't it? Like, so they don't allow lower caste people, I think, in temples, in some temples. There's because Vedas, I think Vedas is built upon discrimination.
And God has a name, and Hinduism is a wicked pagan religion.
Damn. And it is absolutely glorious. It's absolutely glorious. I'm glad this is happening. I genuinely am glad.
I'm glad too.
You know, like I said, it's my favorite song. I love seeing this because you have people like Dinesh who thought they were going to go under the radar. They thought as long as they could attack black people, you know, white massa was never going to whip them. They were under the impression that they were one of them, that they had the complexion for the protection.
He doesn't mince words at all.
Wake up, nigga.
Why on earth would you think that the racist white people would view you as one of them? You are nothing more and everything less. Damn. That's what you don't understand. And that's the funny part of all of this. Because I'm going to do another video on the absolute implosion of the Republican Party. Because they have two paths to take. Two paths. And they're going to have to choose one path over the other very soon when we come to those midterms and then we come to the general election. That being said, what is happening to Vivek Ramaswamy, what's happening to Dinesh D'Souza, what is going to happen...
but I'm kind of glad that like Ann Coulter and whoever ask you know, these guys these questions, they're being blunt about it, right? Like this is what I feel. You don't belong here. You know what I mean? So at least there's the transparency. I appreciate that transparency.
I appreciate that.
To Patrick Bet David. Got to do a video
because
on
in India this would never happen. These Brahmins who were the right wingers, right? They would never say that out loud. It would be kind of like under the table kind of thing, because there are like laws against discrimination or whatever. And I'm pretty sure there must be some laws in the US or maybe not. I don't know.
that Looney Tune. But what is happening to a lot of these black and brown people who thought, if I just attack black people, right? If I just repeat and regurgitate talking points, I'll be okay. That, once again, their house was built on the sand. And there's a rush, a tsunami of racism that's coming that is destroying their house. So many of them are going to be homeless. They're going to be politically homeless. And the funny part is, you've always been politically homeless. They never liked you, Vivek.
Yeah.
They never liked you, Dinesh. They have told you time and time again, you're not like us. You're not one of us. We don't want you here. Go back to your country of origin, okay? Go back to your parents' country of origin and make that place great again. Make India great again. Take the Nesta Souza with you. Take what's her name?
Yeah, exactly. So what did these guys do to the US that they are so proudly claiming that we Americans, you guys didn't contribute anything. I mean, to the establishment of the country, I mean to say. Even in India, back in India, these parties like RSS, the right wing parties, right? These guys never fought against the British. In fact, they sometimes called like the British bootlickers. So these guys were for the British. So they never fought for the independence. They never fought against the British. But now there's this idea that if you are anti BJP or this right wing party, you are anti national. So funny, isn't it?
Who changed her name? I forgot her name. Vicky Haley, right? Her name not even Haley, right? Nikki Haley. Take her with you. Go back to your homeland and make that country great again. Stop telling us.
And this guy, Cash Patel, talking about Valhalla and all that bullshit.
Good white people about our.
That's what I'm saying. These guys literally think they are Aryan, they are Vikings. That's what they think. It may not look like that, but in their mind, they that's the picture they have about themselves.
Country and how to make it great. That's what you need to do, and that's what they need to hear. That's what they need to hear. This is what I've told you guys. Like, listen, they don't like y'all. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Let me know what you guys think. Whether or not you believe, look, we're not racist. We just want to let them know that, you know, they're American. They're just a little less American than, you know, some of us white American. Or if you don't believe, oh no, I know, I get it. I absolutely understand how the party is. You don't have to explain it to me. I absolutely understand. It's these foreigners, right, who come in here and they think they can tap dance and put on a cowboy hat and wear an American flag, and then everybody would see them as American. No, they're.
That's what I'm like. Come on. Every single video of Aircraft is America is the greatest country in the world. We Americans. Bro, you're hardly 20 years old in America.
They're sadly mistaken, and now they're getting a wake-up call. Anyways, if you happen to disagree, you know where to find me Thursday through Saturday. Disagreement day, number on screen, you call and we duke it out. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to like, share, comment, let me know what you guys think, and subscribe. And all.
Okay, let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys in another video. Bye-bye.